All right, welcome back. We're wrapping up the show today. In the markets, particularly, I'm keeping my eye on these markets. It's just before 2. We got 2 hours left of trading. Many of the most volatile moments usually come in the open and the close of the day. Sometimes in the middle of the day, there's bad news or something. It tanks. But Friday afternoons, it's thin. And if there's any bad news and selling, the thing tends to dip out. We'll see what kind of imbalances there are a little later today. But Overstock.com, $27.77, up from, let's see, if you follow Overstock like I do, I'm a great friend of the company and been a part of the company for a long time, going back to 2000. The stock has gone from 4 to 28 in the period of 90 days. So it's up 600%. And now there was a time 2 years ago when I was the vice president of their cryptocurrency division where the stock was 80. So from 80 to 4, believe me when I tell you, it hurt. I needed more than a drink. I needed a tranquilizer. But might as well have a drink too. But Overstock in a certainly wonderful pattern here at $27.77. The Dow continues to just labor, if you ask me. It's when you look at, let's see, what the lows of the day were 25,054. See, 25,054. So it just tested that 25 a little earlier today, and it bounced up a little bit to where it is right now, 25,181. So 100 off its low of the day. But man, towards the end of the day, if there's some selling in here and bust through 25, it's going to set off a whole bunch of sell programs that could really slap around this market. And, Donald Trump is coming under attack now. He's coming under attack because he's saying that, testing is causing the rise in cases. And it would make sense if you think about it, because just 2 months ago, Governor Cuomo, Morning Joe, every single person on the left, the most left wing of zealots like Joe Scarborough, we're talking about we need testing. We have to have testing. We'll never know if we don't have testing. Okay? They sound like the Grip Crew at a rock concert. Testing. All they wanted was testing. Now we're doing voluminous testing. I think we've tested, maybe 10% of our whole population in the last month or so, coming from 0. That's pretty good. And if you're doing more testing, then it only makes sense that there would be more cases. Now, the thing that I want to keep my eye on, and I've been telling you guys, is survival rate. You see, we had Dr. Dan Durrell on yesterday, and he agreed with my personal medical hypothesis, Dennis Durrell. He agreed with my medical hypotheses that the use of ventilators was actually the wrong thing to do to people. And, I don't like to brag, but I do have a medical degree. Or at least I say I do on television. But no, Dr. Durrell agreed with me on one thing, that forcing more air into a lung that's inflamed and has less volume inside caused more trauma. It caused more shortness of breath. It caused the lungs to not, they can't contract when they're full with air like this, and there's already less space inside. It's like, think about this. I used to own a few bars, so I'll give you a couple of little bar tricks, okay? You buy these glasses that look like this, okay? And then the people are like, wow, what a glass, right? What you don't realize, and Dunkin' Donuts does this too, those snakes over there, okay? A lot of glasses, see, these are good glasses. These are nice, sturdy. That's why I'm guzzling down. And by the way, I'm like a third of the way through this thing. I thought I might get done by the time the show was over, but I'm not, thankfully. That's why I'm still talking and not dribbling. But a lot of the glass companies, what they do is, you see this bottom part here, where you can see that line, that's where the glass is. Sometimes when you want the people to think they're getting a big drink, they put even more glass here on the bottom, okay? And then it's skinnier on the bottom and it goes out on top. So it looks like a big fat glass. And when they're real snakes, they put even a little more, and then under here is hollow, so it looks like the glass is super tall on top. It's really a magical optical illusion that they want you to think, wow, I am getting one monster of a drink they're charging me $21 for. But it still has the same amount of volume in the cup. 7 ounces, 8. I could show you a glass this big that's like 6 ounces. It's the same thing as the lungs in this. The lungs are only so big, and that's not going to change on the outside. But on the inside, where the COVID was inflaming the walls, it starts taking up space inside, so there's less room for the air. And then when you have the person's natural breathing going on, and then they start forcing more air in there, you're causing trauma on the lungs. And by the way, I'm not a doctor. I'm joking around about that. But it only makes sense that if you have less space in the lungs and you're forcing more air in there, not oxygen, air, you're going to put more trauma on the person. The person gets more nervous. That's why a lot of these people are out cold. 80% of the people who got put on ventilators died. So, me being a riverboat gambler and usually betting against the favorite, against the odds, if you tell me 20% of the people, 80% of the people on ventilators die and 20% live, if they come at me with a ventilator, I'm going to be fighting with every bit of strength I have to be in the 20%. And I don't care. If I die being in the 80, then, the man upstairs decided he needed me at the boardroom upstairs. And I don't know. I know a lot of great people up there. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'm going... I was talking about the trap door in the market. Who knows? Maybe when my number gets called, I'll hit that trap door and I'll be express elevator right to the basement. I don't know. I'm trying to do the best I can, but to me, we've had some colossal failures in this whole COVID thing, and I think some governors turn the other cheek as they send a whole bunch of senior citizens who fought and worked and were part of the foundation and fabric of building this new modern era of America were basically put to their death, which is sad. But I'm going to wrap it up for today on a good note. It's Freaky Friday. It was a funny Friday. It was a fantastic Friday for me, and I hope it was the same for you. I'm going to be here again Monday morning, same bat time, same bat channel, more Liquid Lunch. Have a great weekend.